Today's Show Toronto. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan. We're down here, downtown Toronto, Witchwood Barns, Artscape, Christie and Blue Road. We'd love for you guys to come down. We're fully accessible. We have a dog park. We have a water park. We have a great galleria. You got to come down and check it out. There's wonderful shows down here all the time throughout the week. Again, it's accessibility. It's dog friendly. It's at Christie and Blue Road, Witchwood Barns, the Disability Channel. We would love to help you out. Again, you're watching the Today Show. I'm Jay Stoyan. On the show today, we have three powerhouses. Stay tuned. We're going to introduce them. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan. On the couch and in the chair, we have three powerhouses. We have Doug Smith from Doug Smith Performance. We have Stefan Beardwood from veteranhouse.ca. And we have Stavros. Stavros, you please pronounce your last name.
Theodorakopoulos.
There you go. Now, Stavros might be the most important person here because he is the accountant.
Far from it.
He is the accountant. So this is exciting. And the reason I have these three gentlemen on is because they were introduced to the channel through a veteran named Vince Campbell. Now, Vince isn't here today, but Vince has been on the show today. He's a terrific guy, and what a connector. Like, three powerhouses. Doug Smith on his own, a former NHL hockey player. He helps our fellow men and women now with trauma situations, but he can explain it, or actually Stefan can explain it terrifically in his book called The Trauma Code. So again, Doug Smith from Doug Smith Performance, Stefan Beardwood from veteranhouse.ca. He's going to tell us all about how his platform helps fellow veteran organizations, right, Stefan? And of course, Stavro, he keeps us everybody in line here. So again, guys, thanks for being on the show today. Why don't we do this? Stefan, why don't you tell us how the relationship, how you met Vince, because I want to include Vince in this conversation, because it's very important. And then, because he linked everybody here. So take it away. Tell us about Vince and your relationship.
Yeah, Vince is just one of those amazing guys that, I don't think he knows how to make enemies.
I haven't even met him yet.
And you like him, right?
Yeah, I like him already.
Yeah, so I met Vince a few years ago through Fabian Henry, because we were planning and helping to design and set up what would become the song camps. Right? So Fabian had saw a program in the States, wanted to replicate it in Canada, so we just put our minds to, this is how it's going to work. And Vince was one of those guys who had connected in through it. So him and I drove 16 hours across Canada a couple years ago and got to know each other on the way out, and got to know each other throughout the week, and we co-wrote a couple songs and did a lot of playing.
So you're both veterans and you both are music lovers.
Yes.
Wow, what a connection.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect friendships, right? So, and then we traveled back and literally stayed in touch and just got to know each other more and more and more. And then a few months back, he reached out. He said, "You remember I was telling you about this?" And next thing I know, there's Jay.
Wow. So how long have you known Vince now?
2-3 years.
And you guys went together to the Veteran for Healing, right?
Three camps.
3 camps you guys have been on. Tell our audience a little bit about the camps, Stefan.
So the camps are it's not a level entry healing tool. It's when you've reached a certain level, and we're going to finesse it a little bit more, it's to give you purpose to go back out in the world and pick up a cause. So the bottom line of the camps is you're getting some fairly well-heeled people come in. They sit down with a singer-songwriter, Keith Mullins, who's a well-known decorated artist in the East Coast. And you tell and talk about your story with this incredible musician, and he puts it into tune. And he, like literally in my case, he wrote a song with me I could never have written on my own. Right?
Wow.
Because my focus would have been on this trauma that I went through, when his was on what I achieved because of the trauma. Right? And it was like,
He accelerated you.
Yeah.
Can you give our viewers a little bit of insight on what music means to you as a veteran in healing?
Ooh.
Like just a little sample of how important it is.
When you breathe in a fresh spring day and then exhale, that's music.
Wow, that's great. I love that because music makes the world go round, and no matter your personal beliefs or your personal feelings, but when it comes to music, it seems to bring everybody together. doesn't it?
Yeah.
So let's move over to Stavro. Now, Stavro, can you tell us about veteranhouse.ca and how your platform helps other veteran organizations?
Yes, well, we work with not-for-profits and for-profits. We help connect them with the right people, and we also mentor not-for-profits through Doug Smith, our chair of our NFP board. And we run the gambit from their helping them set up their books, making sure we're in line as a charity, because we're responsible as a charity to the CRA to conduct our affairs appropriately. So making sure our financials are in line in that regard, and our activities as well.
So let's take an example. Let's just take an organization. Let's just say Soldiers On, right? But any veteran organization, they never heard of you guys, and they got, oh, hey, we heard about you guys, so they're calling you, and they want to find out more information how they could utilize you guys to their benefit. So take our viewers through. So I'm just cold calling you, and I'm from, I shouldn't say Soldiers On, whatever, right? And just say, okay, so hey, can you tell me more about your organization? Because I might have an opportunity to utilize your platform. So what would I have to do, Stavro?
Right. Well, Soldier On, that's very much up Stefan's alley as well.
Yes, Soldier On is actually a bad example because they are a charity on their
Yeah,
own.
I was going to say that.
So I would look at something like someone who wants to start a program or start a non-for-profit, all right? Then this is where you would reach out. You can either go to our website, and there's some stuff that you can download, and it'll take you step by step through it, or you would reach out to us just through email, in which case then you'll be working with Steve and myself. And
there is no shortage of veterans from what we've seen that want to help. They have the passion to help, they have the capabilities.
They need the training.
So if a company wanted to help XYZ veteran organization by writing them a $10,000 check, and they said, thank you very much, you'll have to get in touch with Veteran House. Take us through that. So take us through that process?
Sure. So first off, we would have to establish what these funds would be used for.
Okay.
And of course, in this case, it would fall in line with our charitable purpose, whether it's training someone that's homeless, a homeless veteran, getting them off the street, getting them training, getting them employed along those lines. So from there, the donor would issue the donation to Veterans House, designated to this program or organization. And they would receive a charitable receipt for us, which they can claim with their taxes.
And they'd be able to, and everything's transparent, right? So they'd be able to see everything.
Absolutely.
And we keep nothing.
Keep nothing.
The full amount goes to what it was built and gone to.
Our overhead is minuscule, 0.5%.
So what responsibility would XYZ platform have after the donation went through? Like what happens to so take me through that element. What responsibility do they have?
So this is where Stavros, he really is the most important person in the charity.
Bald-faced lie.
In any business, he's the most important.
But it's not, because the whole business model relies on financial accountability. That was the pitch when we went after our charity status. That's what they accepted us under, so much so that they wrote our mission statement for us. So that financial accountability really does fall onto him, because what we do is part of that process of partnering with a not-for-profit isn't just about training them for the business skills or helping develop a board or business financial plans. It's also about an online accountability. So Steve works with not-for-profits directly, setting up a shared set of books, right? And is able to monitor the transactional financial end of it. And that's what gives us that credibility, right? As a neutral third party, overseeing the transfer of funds, making sure it gets to a program, and that financial accountability can be shown to the person making the donations.
And I'm assuming the donor is very comfortable with that, right? Because
Happy.
they know exactly
Happy.
where the money's going. It's all transparent, and right. That's super important to a donor, right? They want to make sure every cent is being spent on what you told it would be spent on, right? That's great. Thank you for sharing. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Doug Smith and see how Doug is connected to the Veteran House and the Veteran Award. So stay tuned. You're watching the Today Show Toronto. I'm Jay Stoyan. We'll be right back.
Friends, it's an absolute pleasure to send greetings as you gather for this fantastic fundraiser in support of the Disability Channel and Legion 60. Thanks to everyone involved for the important work you do for our veterans and people with disabilities. You're supporting them as they gain valuable work experience and helping build a stronger Ontario for everyone. You're all absolute champions. Your generosity is greatly appreciated, and I hope you have a fantastic event.
Hi, I'm Eric Windross. You're watching the Disability Channel, showcasing abilities.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jay Stoyan. On the couch beside me and in the chair, we have Doug Smith from Doug Smith Performance, former NHLer. We're going to get to him very soon. We also have Stefan Beardwood from veteranhouse.ca and his trusty accountant, Stavro. Thanks, Stavro. Very informative. Very informative what he was telling us. So here we go again. So we're going to do the connector. Vince connected Stefan, and then with Doug. So tell us, Stefan, how you and brought Doug into the circle now.
So I didn't actually bring Doug into the circle. I'm going to give that credit to Gord Brown. He was my member of parliament. Unfortunately, he suffered a heart attack and died in the Health Department a few years ago. You might remember.
Yeah.
Right. But Doug was his business is a neighbor, right? And so quite often Doug would just sit on the porch and we'd have a coffee, right? And we were always talking. And I was telling him about Veterans House concept, and he was going, "Do you know Doug Smith? I got to introduce you to Doug Smith. Do you know Doug Smith? I've got it." Yeah. Anyways, next thing I'm on the phone with Doug Smith, right? And I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, hi Doug Smith. This is Stefan Beardwood." And he's finishing my sentences about trauma.
That was how many years ago?
2015. So
Wow.
8 years ago.
8 years ago, you guys
right?
went 8
Okay.
years,
Wow.
eh?
So he's finishing my sentences on trauma, and it's like, wait a minute. Nobody who's never been in the military, out in the field, in a third world country, right, can finish my sentences, right? Who is this guy, and where's he? Like,
What's going
seriously,
on?
what's going on?
There was an instant attraction.
Yeah, and then of course, and we get talking. We've been circling each other for years as well. I was on the ranges of Connaught. He's probably one of the guys out there water skiing, and we had to stop shooting because he was
On
in
the Ottawa
zone.
River.
Wow.
Yeah, stuff like that, right? So it's crazy, right?
Very cool.
But that aside, we got talking, and the book.
Yep,
Let's
the
talk
book.
about that book.
Okay, let's talk about the book.
Yeah, let's talk about the book, the Trauma Code. That was one of the things that Doug gave me to read, right? And so at this time, I mean, we're really focusing on developing this charity, and we want to bring in this new system, and we want to change the way everyone's thinking. And Doug's going, "It already exists."
You just have to draw it in advance.
And it's like, "What do you mean it already exists? Here, read this."
Wow.
No, he was a lot more enthusiastic
Yeah.
than that. It's like, "Read this," like, please, because you're trying to reinvent the wheel that's already been invented, right? So it's like, and he was right? It's just that simple. Like, why do all that extra work? And that changed the focus of the charity, 100%.
Wow.
Right. So from
Understanding trauma changed the focus of the charity.
That's a big change.
that's right. So we literally went from focusing on what we were going to do to focusing on how we can help others accomplish what they wanted to do.
Wow, that's
Right?
very.
And so that's the trauma
That's
code.
180 degrees.
Yeah.
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 Different way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's the trauma code.
So take us through a scenario where you would best utilize Doug's talent or skill.
And that's the not-for-profit board.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So Doug currently chairs our not-for-profit board. So everyone, any not-for-profit, and we'll talk about the training program.
Yep.
All right, automatically gets a seat on our not-for-profit board. Right. Now you designate who that is from your organization, and then Doug chairs that board. And so when it's there's always designated funding, but as we grow and and the funding comes in that's not designated, that goes to the board, and the board decides how it's spent and where.
Wow.
And chairing means coaching today. Like, I'm involved, and I might have the position of chair on the paperwork, but really it's just a coaching exercise. People have it within them, you just have to bring it out.
Wow. So if people don't know about Doug Smith was drafted in the 1981 NHL draft right behind, number 2, right behind Dale Howardchuk. So he's a bona fide superstar. He played for the LA Kings, the Buffalo Sabres, Pittsburgh Penguins, Edmonton Oilers. Am I missing any teams in the NHL?
The Buffalo Sabres.
Buffalo Sabres, that's Sabres.
Yeah.
Sabres, Oilers, Penguins, Kings.
And Canucks.
And Canucks. There you go. And Ottawa. Yeah.
Well, in Ottawa, I didn't play for the Ottawa Senators, but I joined the Ottawa Senators Alumni Association because they allow any former NHL player
Very nice.
that lives locally to join their organization. It just makes it more
Wow.
powerful for the community.
So you got quite the extensive NHL career, and then you obviously went to overseas, and that's where you had your incident. We'll call it, I guess.
In professional game 607, I slammed headfirst into the end boards and shattered the 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae. So my career ended instantly. I knew it was over, and it was amazing because I didn't see when that happened, and I was conscious when it happened, I didn't see all the big goals I'd scored. I didn't see all the accolades that I had received that close to death. I saw all the times I had let people down and didn't show up and didn't help
Remarkable.
other people. So I saw something that I had never seen before, and it changed me right there.
And I do want to let our viewers know that if you do want to see this incident, be careful because it's quite graphic. We do have it on our website on one of our previous press box, one of our sports shows. So this is amazing to have these three people plus Vince Campbell attached to the channel, doing wonderful things for veterans, but for disabled people and an able-bodied person too. I'm sure you guys would not discriminate if somebody contacted you guys who wasn't a veteran or disabled but was having a difficult time in their life.
Yeah, helping other people is the priority of the organization.
So
It's an
take us
absolute
through,
priority.
maybe Stefan can take us through. So let's say, for instance, somebody has a severe injury, they get in touch with you because they heard about Doug Smith. So take us through let's say another former athlete, maybe not a hockey player, broke his neck, and he's struggling now, and you got to reach out to the Veteran House, and then, so take us through how that would happen, Stefan.
So on an individual basis like that, we would just go out and find the nearest resources that they need. I mean, there's a network out that is constantly in communication online from one organization to another with tons of crossovers. So literally, if I was to flood one of the veterans forums with a problem, in 1 hour I would have 100 solutions.
Wow.
So that is what would happen on an individual basis. As a charity, we focus primarily on the not-for-profit. So ideally, what I want to do is get that individual to the right not-for-profit or the right program, right?
Okay.
So those are the things. Like, for example, you've got the retraining program. I knew of a guy up in Petawawa I served with. I knew he was doing a podcast, and I knew he would benefit from the program. So I gave him a call. We talked for a while on the phone, and I gave him the contact information. He reached out, and he's in your program.
So
Right.
today AI can qualify pretty quickly, right? I mean, we're also talking about where this is going in the future.
Yes.
So, and I know you love to talk about that.
I
stuff. That's
do.
one of my areas I love.
Well, this is what I'd like to do. I'd like our people to know. So, Doug, take us through like a typical Doug Smith day, focusing on helping people. Like, just take us through. Like, 'cause I know you're a super busy guy, and he knows like I think everybody in the world. First of all, so like when people reach out to you, give us like a bird's eye view of a really in-depth conversation without giving away any secrets.
Oh,
You know
I
what
just
mean?
get absolutely focused on where the problem is, where the issue is in their life. And it always goes to self-worth or lack of options.
Wow.
That's all. I get uber interested, super excited, like I do with a frisbee or juggling or doing any of the things physically. I get super excited about where they're at emotionally and how did they get there. And that's what I've really studied. I wrote the book because I wanted to learn about it, right? So I'm that type of person where if I'm learning about it, I'm writing it down. And if I'm writing it down, I might as well
So
share
like
it
the
with
first
people.
thing you might ask somebody on the phone that you never met who's desperate in need of some support. Like you'll talk to them about emotionally, how you are feeling.
Oh yeah, it's all about their health and well-being. Even if they're a CEO of $100 million company, and I coach those people.
It doesn't need to be serious trauma. It
Okay.
can
No.
be daily life. It could be having to deal.
Cumulative emotional trauma is the hardest thing to deal with. There's only 4 types of trauma: catastrophic physical,
Yeah.
catastrophic emotional, cumulative physical, and cumulative emotional. The first 3 we see, and if your arm's hanging off, you get help. The 4th one is invisible. It's like carbon monoxide
Living
to our
in a
brain.
bad relationship.
So I search for that inside the individual because I know where to find it, because this is a map on how to find it.
So give me, to your best memory, give me this. So when you're talking to, let's say a CEO who did not have an accident, but he's emotionally
Oh,
drained.
he's a mess. Okay,
He's a
he's got
mess.
a trade show. He's
Yeah.
calling me 3 times a day. like, look, have you checked to see whether you're getting enough oxygen? Have you checked on, do you need a CPAP machine? Do you need this? What physically is happening that's caused a disruption in your life, in your personal and emotional life? And we'll discover it could be a medical issue that they have that's causing them to destroy their life.
What's the green light emotion, like, response that go when they find, give me some of, like,
Well,
oh my goodness.
The only words I can use is they fall in love.
Yeah.
They fall in love with a different way of looking at the world, right? A different way of looking at trauma and the recovery, because recovery and performance are on the same spectrum. The same process comes with recovering from physical injury and healing emotional trauma. It's the same process. It doesn't change.
This is great. And this leads into the future. So what's going to happen now is, like, such a great team, right? And they've been more than kind enough to offer help to the Disability Channel, where, our focus is persons with disabilities and veterans, and, able-bodied too. Hey, we like to help everybody, but the vision moving forward is to engulf through our employment programs, because that's the opportunity through education, and we want to go right across Ontario, like we are now, go right across Canada into the U.S., which we had a wonderful meeting with the RCTAA, Senator Dale Fowler. Illinois, we have a 20 acres down there, a 10,000 square foot building, focused on stopping suicide and helping veterans and their families get on their feet, get an opportunity, get a job, regain whatever they want in life, right? Whatever they want in life. So again, and then do our programs, get dug in here, into our programs, use the charitable platform, right, for corporations to jump on board, and then showcase all of this at the 225 Invictus out in BC. So this is going to be very exciting. So guys, if people want to find out more information, and just about, we have a huge fundraiser tonight. So we're very excited about our fundraiser out in Burlington. These guys are all going to be speaking, so it's going to be great. So, Doug, if people want to find out more information about Doug Smith Performance, where could they go?
I want to give people something they can use now.
Okay.
Right? And all they got to do is go to DougSmithPerformance.com/relax. And you can download a meditation that's been developed based on my work. I challenge you to follow the suggestions and stay awake. If you're looking for rest, relaxation, download this meditation, and then you can get to know me better. We can get to know each other better. I look forward to connecting.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks. And Stefan, what would you say to a veteran who needs help right now, who's reaching out there?
Reach out.
Reach out.
Connect. Absolutely. We spent our entire careers in groups and teams. The only reason we accomplished anything, much like the NHLers on the ice, was because someone was feeding you the puck. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if someone's feeding you the tools you need to do what you need to do, you can do the job, right? But for some reason, when we get injured and we leave, we tend to crawl in a hole and stay there, and that's dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And if people want to find out more information about the website, where could they go?
Veteranshouse.ca.
Thanks, Stefan. And Stavro, being a veteran and an accountant, give me your perspective on, I guess, what Stefan just said and of course, what Doug said.
Well, I'm very fortunate to have witnessed what they're doing firsthand. And these basically, recovery from what I see can be like going through a maze. And they've gone through it, they've reached the end of the maze, and they're able to show others how to get through as well. So if you're feeling you just can't break through, you're feeling like there's no way out, there is a way, they've found it. So that's powerful. I mean, all you have to do is connect with them. They're dying for you to connect with them.
Experience is golden, right?
They can, whether they help you one-on-one, you have the resources and the connections throughout Canada.
And we can do it quickly.
So,
it happens instantaneously.
On a dime.
It happens right away. Yeah.
That's great, guys. Well, I really want to thank your two services, Doug. I really want to thank what you do for our community. Amazing.
Nice to be here, Jay.
What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back and wrap the show. You're watching the Today Show Toronto. I'm Jay Stoyan. Stay tuned.
All about inclusion and really giving everyone a fair say.
Welcome to the Today Show. This is our flagship show. I am Unstoppable Tracy.
I am Zach Damon.
It is a pleasure to be here. I am excited. What is up?
We have
a great show today.
Jay Stoyan here for the Disability Channel, the world's only inclusive channel for and by persons with disabilities.
Get ready to be inspired, everyone.
We have people watching from all over the world, but also all over Ontario.
We also take a concerted attention in the veterans community.
In moments of stress and trauma, we can get a hold of ourselves.
To help make a difference for people with disabilities, to show people how to love themselves or their disability.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me, giving this platform for myself and other people with disabilities.
Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this episode of the Disability Channel of Detroit. Please tune in next time.
I'm Jay Stoyan. You're watching the Today Show Toronto. On the show today, we had three dynamic individuals. We had Doug Smith from Doug Smith Performance. We had Stephen Beardwood from VeteranHouse.ca, and we had Stavro also from VeteranHouse.ca. I don't want to pronounce his last name because I butchered it, so I really thank the guys being on the show today. Before I do let you go again, check us out, www.thedisability channel. Our employment programs for persons with disabilities and veterans are free. We have a cohort coming right now. We're going to have a lot more great opportunities coming out in the future. Again, we have our December 1st fundraiser tonight out in Burlington, Ontario. We have some great dignitaries there. Great support. I want to thank all of our sponsors. You can check them out on our website, from Home Depot to Costco to Long McQuaid to Sirius XM to the Ontario government. So again, I'm Jay Stoyan. You're watching the Today Show Toronto. If you want to find out more information on our platform, please go to www.thedisabilitychannel.ca and get your books. Again, we'll see you next time. That was good.